In the years before the 2003 invasion, Iraqis only had one choice at the poll: Saddam Hussein. 15 years later, the tyrant deposed and executed. Iraq's field of candidates for elections on Saturday is now so varied that voters can choose between thousands of Shia, Sunni and Kurdish aspirants from 87 parties. With so many contenders this year, Prime Minister Haidar al-Abadi stands at the epicenter of the highly contested election. And though he's universally considered a hero for routing ISIS, his victory at the polls is far from certain. It's been a tumultuous 4 years for Abadi. He was appointed Prime Minister in 2014 after his predecessor oversaw a whiplash-inducing retreat of Iraqi soldiers in the face of an ISIS assault on one of the country's largest cities. Since then, he stood at the helm of an eventual defeat of the Islamist group, put down a Kurdish rebellion in the north, and hosted Iranian and American forces within elbowing distance of each other without it devolving into another all-out war on his turf. Meanwhile, suicide bombings continue to plague Baghdad, disputes over oil revenues have stalled in parliament, and more than 2 million Iraqis remain displaced from the war with ISIS. But despite the endorsement of allies including the US, Abadi faces the likelihood of not gaining the necessary seats to win a majority, which means he'll have to reach out to groups including Malikis and that of former Transportation Minister Hadi al-Amiri, a one-time head of an umbrella group of Iran-backed Shia militias that fought against ISIS. The vote among the Shia Iraqis will likely be split between those three groups, making it nearly inevitable that Abadi will have to negotiate with them. Iraqi Shiite tribesmen brandished their weapons and a poster of Shiite cleric Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani in June 2014, as they gathered to show their willingness to join Iraqi security forces in the fight against militants who'd taken over several northern Iraqi cities. The danger for indifferent Iraqis is to continue to vote along identity lines, even as the sectarianism that enveloped the country for so many years now appears to be ebbing. President Trump welcomed Prime Minister Abadi to the White House in March 2017. Rabi al-Zubaydi, a health food store owner in Baghdad: "We felt security, jobs were available for the people, you could say life was good. Right now there's corruption in the leadership and with the politicians. I think the previous situation was better." Abadi is between the hammer and an anvil, between the US, Saudi Arabia and Iran, and don't expect him to succeed in doing very much.
Of Mosul. The Iraqi Prime Minister arrived in the northern city to make the announcement that Mosul has been liberated from ISIS. Now, according to his office, Haidar al-Abadi congratulated the soldiers and the Iraqi people, calling this a great victory. It comes nearly 3 years after the leader of ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, declared the ISIS caliphate. Well, our CNN's Nick Payton-Walsh was in Mosul recently, reporting for us there. He joins us now from the nearby city of Erbil. Nick, this was the exact city where ISIS declared its caliphate. What does this declaration of victory mean? How significant is it?
There is an element of politics to this, in that it is symbolic. It is about Iraq saying this chapter in its history is closed, because there will still be a low-level insurgency over the remnants of ISIS for years ahead. But what's key today is Iraq is trying to turn the page. Haidar al-Abadi, you're probably seeing live pictures of him now. He has arrived at a police base slightly to the north of Mosul's airport. On a good day, perhaps 10-15 minutes drive from the Al-Nuri Mosque, where Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the ISIS leader, declared their self-declared caliphate pretty much exactly 3 years, 10 days ago from where we're speaking. Now, he's arriving there. We're expecting him to make some sort of address live on Iraqi television, and after many similar statements in the past, this time finally say Mosul is liberated, and really that does pretty much declare an end of the caliphate of ISIS so far in Iraq. There are other towns in which they have a strong presence where the fighting will continue, but it's this population centre that has been so vital, that the fighting for which has been 8 months of intense, brutal, bloody battles, many civilians caught in the crossfire, and potentially today we're hearing that security forces have reached the Tigris River that runs through the middle of the city, pretty much cutting ISIS off now and taking their